welcome back to my channel, Transparent Homeschool. My name is Beth, and if you are new here, we are currently in our 5th year homeschooling, and we just finished our first quarter, and I am really excited about that. It's kind of been an up and down quarter for us. We have done a lot of traveling, plus I have been in my first and second trimester, and so that all of the symptoms that come along with being pregnant, that is definitely cause for kind of my review today. And so, like I said, we've been doing a lot of traveling, and surprisingly, I have been able to keep up on the schedule that I created. If you kind of go back to some of my other earlier planning videos for this year, you will remember that I only plan 2 weeks out, and this is the first year that I've ever done that, because I feel like last year I had planned out my whole year before we even started school, and it was really hard for me once we got into the third quarter to kind of keep up, and lots of things slipped, and we just stopped doing some components of our curriculum, and I didn't finish those, and we just kind of barely kind of like squeezed through the rest of the year. I didn't want that to happen this year, and so from the beginning of the year, I decided to only plan 2 weeks out. Also, we found out we were pregnant before we started the school year, and because of that, some of the curriculum choices that we chose reflect kind of the need for a slower school year. And so as I kind of just tell you what worked, what went super well, what's not going so well, what I kind of plan on changing, or kind of, where we're going from here, just keep all those things in mind. I have notes here because I don't want to really kind of leave anything out. And so we're just going to kind of get started. This is the first year that I am not like bound by my curriculum. If you go to any of these like homeschool conferences, or you listen to any of these like homeschool superstars talk about this kind of thing, the whole thing is like, don't be a slave to curriculum. Like, don't become like a checkbox maker. I love checking off my boxes, don't get me wrong, but it has definitely gotten me into some sticky spots in the past with trying to finish up curriculum and making sure that like we get everything done, and like no one was having fun anymore. And so this year I really wanted to get on top of not being like bound by my curriculum. And so I wanted it to work for me, not the other way around. And so the new component that we added this year, because of being pregnant and things like that, is called Gather Round. And I'm going to make a whole different video about Gather Round. So if you don't know what that is, watch out for that video. But basically, it's kind of a unit study approach to a topic. And I thought that was really awesome because it was exactly what I needed. I wanted, at the beginning of the year, I wanted less books, less subjects to teach like individually. And so like, the past couple of years, I've had a history curriculum, a science curriculum, a language arts curriculum, a typing curriculum, writing, like all of that stuff is just, they're good and they're great. But for me at that point last year, I was done with it. I didn't want that. And I'm glad I had that feeling, because come, the beginning of this year, we found out we were pregnant, and I knew that it was just going to be really hard for me to kind of continue sustaining that really bulky coursework for the duration of my pregnancy and when new baby comes. So what we decided to do was baby's due date is a little bit after the new year. And so by the middle of January, we will have been completed our second quarter. And so I was like, let's just do the first 2 quarters. Let's complete quarter 1 and quarter 2, take a break for Christmas and new baby, and we'll kind of reevaluate where we are from there. And so with the not being bound by the curriculum, it's given me a lot of freedom to just skip whole pages of coursework. And it was really hard at first, because it was like, no, we got to do this. Like, I bought it, I have to use every single page. But then the more that I just kept doing it, it was really easy. And now I don't even blink. We just turn the page if I don't want to do it, and we keep going. So in the Gather Round curriculum, it is kind of like an all-encompassing curriculum. There's like Bible, there's language arts components, there's science components and history components and writing components and things like that. The only thing that I have a complaint about is, again, a little bit of kind of background on me. We come from using the Good and the Beautiful language arts, and if you know anything about the Good and the Beautiful, their curriculum is so beautiful and it's robust, and I mean, it's just, it is an intense language arts program, but it is very comprehensive. And so switching to this one, my initial worry when I was even, like, before I even bought it, when I was just looking at samples, I noticed there wasn't that big of an emphasis on those kinds of things. It's woven into every lesson, so don't get me wrong, but it's not like concentrated content on language arts. And so that's still a concern of mine. I think coming with the end of the second quarter, I think my husband and I are going to make some changes with the language arts kind of portion of that. But we haven't really decided, and we haven't talked about it or anything like that. These are just kinds of things that have been mulling in my mind. And so, other than that, they do not include math in their curriculum. So you have to have your own math curriculum. And just like the past couple years, we continued on with Good and the Beautiful. We bought both of the new editions of Math 1, Simply Good and Beautiful Math, and Level 3, Simply Good and Beautiful Math, and I absolutely love it. The amount of time that we spend on math is almost like half of the time that we did last year, and I am so excited. But I don't think that my children are like losing any math concepts or they're not spending enough time on them. I just think the way that they redid the entire curriculum is just beautiful, and we love our math. My son is currently in the whole learning of the times tables thing, and he is doing so well, and I attribute that, well, some to his brain, obviously, but a lot to the Good and the Beautiful and how they approach multiplication. So he's doing really well with that, and my daughter also is doing really well in her math. We repeated Math 1 for her just because at the end of last year I didn't think that she was really kind of ready to go on to Math 2, and so this repeat of the math course, Level 1, is great, not only because she's relearning those concepts and mastering them, but it's a completely new curriculum too, because we were using the old edition of Math 1 last year. And so this year we're using the Simply Good and Beautiful Math Level 1. And it is completely different. No lesson is the same. The concepts that are being taught aren't new. It's just kind of the approach that they do it and the speed that they go and all of that. So we're really, really excited about math. And I really just am so grateful that this year math is not a struggling point like it was last year for us. The other thing that I really love this year is our Bible curriculum. We are using the Not Consumed Ministry, like Bible studies for, like, you know, children. Kim Sorgis does just a wonderful job of just picking topics that are really important. And so, thus far, we have done the Obey study, and now we're on the Navigating Friendship study. And I am telling you guys, the content in there is so relevant to even the smallest of ages. They don't have like super little kid books, but my second grader is really enjoying all of the content and all of the topics that we cover, the questions. We're having great conversations about friendships and obeying and all of this stuff. And so, again, it's just a really beautiful Bible study course. And I love the fact that there's so much Bible reference in there. So my children are getting repeated exposure to finding the books of the Bible, learning how it's broken down by chapter and verse and things like that. My son has one translation, my daughter has another translation. And so again, it's just a really great exposure to seeing like how different scriptures read in different translations. And then we talk about it. And it's just one of my favorite parts of the day. Another thing that's new this year is we are doing the Tuttle Twins. If you are not familiar with the Tuttle Twins, I'll link their webpage down below, but it's not necessarily our history curriculum. I'm calling it civic studies. And so that is really fun, and we're learning some new concepts there, and we're having some really good discussions with that. We're also doing Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace Junior, and that is also really good for us. My children are both getting to the age where they are extremely interested about earning money and what that looks like and the responsibility that comes with that. And so I'll probably do maybe a video on that if you guys are interested. But I will also link that website below in case you guys are interested in implementing that in your homeschool. The last thing that we're doing that's new is we are using Night Zookeeper as just part of their independence work. Their independent work, I would say. And the reason they like it is because it is language arts based, and that's really great because they are getting some creative writing practice, and they have to deal with all kinds of grammar and punctuation and things like that. The cool thing that I love about Night Zookeeper is there are people on the other end. There are people that work with Night Zookeeper that read all of your children's entries, and so they will give feedback like, oh, this needs to have more description, can you add more adjectives here, what's something else that you could say about this? And so it's a really great kind of give and take, back and forth creative writing program in that sense. But there's so many games that just reinforce different language arts concepts. So my son loves this game where you have to talk about you are running around, and when you come to a bad guy, you have to stop and choose an antonym for a word or a synonym for a word, and that makes you jump, or some stuff like that. And he just goes crazy for it. He loves it. And so I'm really excited that both of my children are into Night Zookeeper, so we're going to keep using that for the rest of the year. Just because, well, one, we bought it, but two, they're really into it. I think it's great when your children find something that's educational that they really enjoy. So Night Zookeeper, 2 thumbs up. If you are interested in that or don't know what that is, I will also link that below so that you guys can kind of, again, see just what we're using and how it could work or look in your homeschool with your family. So really quickly, that was just my Q1 recap. For the most part, being almost 7 months pregnant, school's going really well. My children help out a lot. If we get upstairs and I forgot something downstairs, there's no way this mama is getting up and going all the way back downstairs to get something. So my children are extremely helpful, and I just love them. They are just the best ever. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video.